Okay, so my dad is here, my aunt's on the phone right there, and then my mom is here. I'm just gonna take a second to prop this up. Okay, cool. Can I see it though? Thanks. All right. Good evening, everyone, and my name is Joy Larson-Jackloni, and I'm excited to share more about myself today with you guys. So growing up, all the people around me, my classmates, my teammates, they had various things they wanted to be when they grew up, from professional football or basketball players to astronauts or vets. And I myself also bounced around with a few job ideas, but by the age of 12, and then more solidified at the age of 14, I was pretty confident that coaching soccer was what I wanted to do. Like most kids, I tried many different activities and different sports, but at 6, I settled on soccer, and I really enjoyed it at the recreational level for a while, and then I moved to Premier, and I also enjoyed it there. However, I knew that I didn't really have a desire to continue to play soccer further than high school. I didn't want to go pro, but I really loved the sport, and I wanted to think about how I could still stay involved in it, so I thought about coaching. And I was watching soccer a lot more at this time around the age of 12 because this is when I moved to Premier. So I started following some of the coaches for the teams that I enjoyed watching. When I was 13 years old, my middle school 8th grade group, took a trip to Rome, Italy. It was a super long flight. We actually went from the SeaTac Seattle airport to Amsterdam and then got on a flight and finished in Rome. So it was a super long flight, and we weren't allowed to use our money to buy, more videos and TV shows. So we kind of had to settle with what was on the screen on the back of the chair in front of us. But there were a lot of options, very long flight. And so I'm scrolling through, I'm looking for stuff, and I see a soccer documentary on a coach called Jose Mourinho. I didn't know much about him, but obviously I knew the name. And I really enjoyed the documentary. It was about an hour and a half long, maybe a little bit less, and I loved the way that his former coaches that he worked with and his former players spoke about him. But I also really liked the way that he spoke about his players and his interaction with them, and I got really inspired. When I came home, I told my mom, I think coaching is something that I'm interested in. So when I was around 14 or so, I got my first coaching experience. And this was at the recreational level, so that's a pretty low level. And I was working as a second assistant coach, so as a head coach and assistant coach, and then me with the girls U8 recreational team. This was fun, but it wasn't really for me. I needed more, and I needed to be more challenged. So very quickly, with some hard work from myself and my mom, I began coaching a girls U13 select team, and this is just above recreational level. And I was also the second assistant coach, but my role was as an apprentice. So specifically, they're trying to help me be a better coach so I can be a good assistant coach. So it's just all about learning more. And this was a fantastic experience for me, and I was here for a couple seasons. I also got my coaching licenses during these seasons, my lowest one and then my second lowest one. The next season, I was invited to be an assistant coach for a newly formed girls U12 team, so under 12, in the same club still. And I was the first assistant coach, and later there was a second assistant coach, but for a while it was just the head coach and myself. And this was a really good experience for me. I was able to have really a hands-on experience and develop as a coach. Through this, I loved it, but I knew that assistant coaching wasn't really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a head coach, right? And so I began to look at other opportunities. And this led me to where I still am now. But about 2 years ago, I applied to a club called Eagle Claw, and I'm still here now. And at the age of 20, I joined, and I was an assistant for a boys U13 team and a girls U12 team. And this is the Premier level, so it's pretty high. It's above recreational, it's above select, and then you've got Premier. And this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed working with high-level coaches that were there to train and put a lot of care into it. Quickly, I got a boys U14 team and a U15 team to head coach while still coaching the girls team that were now an age older, so they were U13. I still have these teams. I don't have the girls anymore, but I have the boys, and they're U16 and U17. They're two separate teams. And just a few weeks ago, I got a boys U4 or U13 team actually. And this just meant a lot to me because it showed me that my bosses and the people within the club put trust in me and my development as a coach, but also trusted that I was here to develop other players. And this felt so good being from 14 coaching, girls U8 rec to now having boys U17 premier at one of the higher levels you can get in soccer, at the youth level. So I know this isn't exactly where I want to be. It's not professional yet, but it's a massive stepping stone to where I would like to be. And overall, I'm really blessed for all the opportunities that have just fallen in my lap, but all the opportunities that I've worked extremely hard for. And some days are harder than others coaching, and I'm tired, but at the end of the day, I'm doing what I love, and it's my job, and it's exciting, and I'm so happy that I'm able to develop as a person and as a coach, but also develop young players into being good soccer players, but good human beings. And that's what I was inspired to do through the soccer coaches that I've had growing up, but also the coaches like Jose Mourinho that I've watched along the way. So thank you guys for listening, and good night.